Utatane Nasa, a sparkly yellow dragon with a bright personality and an endearing smile. She is a million years old and probably ancient as time itself. Though, how do we make a million-year-old Nasa into a Dungeons & Dragons character? In order to make it so she could basically be as old as time itself, we'll have to start off as a human half-dragon, which gives her all the dragon qualities plus being humanoid in nature. But what type of dragon? This is called a time dragon, and power-wise, it is pretty much as strong as a deity. But since Nasa does consider herself a young dragon, I decided to give her the smallest dragon size possible. More or less for her level adjustment not to go too crazy, and on top of that, I had to tweak it a little bit so she can actually take classes and levels, and much more. But with these changes, I went with an LA of 10. As a human, she gets 1 extra feat and an extra skill point per level, plus abilities as a time dragon, which are time control, time stop, damage reduction 10, 9 strength, 2 dexterity, 6 constitution, 7 intelligence, and 6 charisma. And we can't forget about the most important feature of a dragon, which is a fly speed of 300 feet per round. For her starting stats, I chose to give her a lower constitution, while every other attribute is at a moderate level. With a point buy of 32 points, we want 14 strength, 14 dexterity, 8 constitution, 12 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 14 charisma. Then we need to add Nasa's half-dragon traits on top of this. After spending 10 levels giving Nasa the half-dragon template, I wanted to give her a class that had a bit of magic and some dragon-like powers. That's why she is a Dragon Fire Adept. We will give her the full 20 levels, and with that she gains powerful abilities such as Dragon Breath that deals 96 damage. Plus, she can change her breath effect and isn't tied down to one type of element. She also gains invocations, which act like spell-like abilities. There are 4 grades of invocations, instead of the 9 spell levels like usual. She gains Dragon Touched, which gives her bonuses to HP, and +1 to saves and some skills. Her scales are toughened, giving her a +5 natural armor at level 18, and she also has some secondary damage reduction. Lastly, at level 19, she gains immunity to paralyzation and sleep. As a Dragon Fire Adept, Nasa accumulates 207 skill points by level 20. Now what has she actually spent all of her skill points on? Her highest will be 2 professions called Astrologer, making her an expert in stargazing, though the second is Literature. With all of the knowledge of her favorite mangas, she'll be able to tell everyone the latest news. Her next big ones are Spot, Search, Spellcraft, and Swim, which we can all get up to 23 ranks for each. Every D&D build needs fun feats, and her first one is called Draconic Heritage. This gives her some benefits based on the type of dragon chosen. With this feat, it only gives the regular options of dragons, so we cannot pick Time Dragon. But I think silver or gold would fit Nasa based on her personality and look. Gold perhaps for her good-natured personality. Next is the half-dragon feat called Dragon Breath, which a half-dragon normally doesn't obtain, but with this I think it would be neat if she obtained her Time Breath through this. And the next 3 improvements, her breath attacks, which are Recover, Quicken, and Lingering Breath. Recover reduces the time of her breath weapon, while Lingering makes it so the breath attacks affects the area for a couple rounds instead of disappearing immediately. Number 6 is called Exhaled Barrier. She can create a wall of time for whoever walks into it instantly ages a couple of years. The next one is called Entangling Exhalation, which in this case they are trapped and aged every round. Lastly is called Draconic Presence. She gains an aura-like ability to become naturally scary. Instead of spells, the Dragon Fire Adept obtains something similar called Draconic Invocations. These differ from invocations of a Warlock. When Nasa reaches level 18, she will have learned 8 invocations. The first 2 are in the least powerful category. She will take two useful ones called Darkness, which conjures a spot of darkness in an area, and Magic Insight, which helps her identify magical items and other effects. In the lesser category, she will have Voracious Dispelling. When a creature fails to resist the dispel, it rids the magic, and on top of it, it deals damage to the creature. Void Sense will be very useful. When activated, she will gain Blind Sense, which you can effectively see in complete darkness. In the Greater Invocation category, I feel like she would have Devour Magic. This works similar to Greater Dispel, but with a bonus. When successful, she absorbs the magic and recovers temporary HP. Lastly, Chill and Fog. This creates a cold cloud that freezes enemies as long as they stay within the cloud, though that would be the majority of her invocations. Nasa is in need of some cool equipment for her grind adventures with her friends. A good one might be the Amulet of Second Chances. This is perfect for her abilities as a time dragon. When activated, she can reverse a disastrous event or choice, you undo the turn, and can redo your actions. Her next item is called the Ring of Virtuous Good. I think she is as good as they come, and this ring gives her the ability to have a permanent holy aura. While inside the aura, creatures are imbued with the Protection from Evil spell. Second, they gain spell resistance 25, and thirdly, it blocks possession and mental effects. But that's not all. It also blinds an evil enemy if they successfully hit Nasa, though that requires a fortitude save. Overall, it's a pretty useful ring against evil. I also thought giving her some magical items for dungeon crawling, like the Gem of Seeing. This handy diamond-like gem gives her the effects of true seeing when looked through. Sovereign Glue, this trusty substance can bind two objects together permanently, though funny enough, creatures do not count as objects, which I'm sure she could definitely find a use for. And what type of an adventurer doesn't have a bag of holding? Last item is called the Chime of Opening. Any small-time adventurer would need a device like this. When rung, any doors are forcefully swung open and unlocked. So basically she is quite strong in her own right. And she has an adventurous spirit, which I believe she can use all these items to effectively get through dungeons. But we haven't even talked about her weapons. I think it would be neat to give her a magical +5 claw bracer with an enchantment of Force. The on-hit effect deals additional 1d6 damage of Force. It can also dispel effects such as shield and or bracers of armor. I believe her alignment would be neutral good, maybe on the border of lawful good, but that's just the feeling I get from her. Kinda like a bright sun who's always smiling. But what exactly is this dragon's final stats? With 20 levels of Dragonfire Adept, she gets up to 200 HP. This is taken into consideration of her increased constitution. Nasa gets around 18 armor class without any armor, buffs, or magic. Her saves are 14 fortitude, 9 reflex, and 18 willpower. She's the time dragon with multiple dragon powers and abilities to change her breath weapon in multiple ways. There may have been other methods she could have leveled, like being a thief or being an incredible mage, but I felt like a dragon like herself would enjoy many ways to breathe fire and other elements. Though that is Utatane Nasa into Dungeons and Dragons. If you guys want to see more VTubers made into cool, fun characters that you can actually play, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys in the next one.